Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
It's a new season, which means it's time to rep your team in new ways with gear from Game Time Sidekicks. Rep the Vols with every sip with a new tie-dye tumbler or bottle. They also have a new NFL Players Association product line, so you can support your favorite VFL on Sundays. Want to put your own flair on a tumbler? Game Time Sidekicks has you covered with options to add your own text or even a monogram on the back of your favorite team tumbler. To check out everything that Game Time Sidekicks has to offer, go to GameTimeSidekicks.com. Carry your team with Game Time Sidekicks.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
At Hiller, we care about your family's comfort all year long. If you get caught without air conditioning this summer, we're offering a free service call with any repair. That's a free service call when we do the work on your HVAC system. Visit happyhiller.com to schedule your appointment today.
Call the happy face truck today.
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app. Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Let's get to the Irish Network's hotline this morning, and let's bring in D.R. Vol. D.R. Vol, what's up, man?
Well, I gave my name as D.R. Paulsavall, but I guess I go by D.R. Vol.
Why is that?
I'm just trying to be positive, man. I guess you can't be a fan if you say anything negative about anything with Tennessee athletics.
Whew.
That's what I learned on Twitter this weekend anyway.
It's I encourage those folks that that feel that way, man, to try to point out the positives, in the last couple of days for Tennessee. It's been a rough couple of days for Tennessee athletics, man. I mean, you're going to have those days, but come on, man. I mean, it's hard to deny that it hasn't been good.
Yeah, unless you're on hallucinogens, which I guess some of them are.
Well, if you weren't the queen of negativity, you wouldn't get bad tweets all the time.
I just point out, it's kind of like Brad told me I was Mr. Negativity, and I posted a meme showing an optimist, a pessimist, and a realist. I see myself more as a realist. I will say I'm down on it because, man, it seems like it's one thing after another. I feel like a beat dog.
Well, here's your problem, D.R. Vol. Bruce Pearl ain't coming back. And everybody who put energy into Bruce Pearl, I'm like, I don't understand it. Maybe it's just a joke, but Bruce Pearl shouldn't be the head coach here. Bruce Pearl is the reason why Bruce Pearl is not the head coach here. It ain't Tennessee's fault. It's Bruce Pearl's fault. It's his fault. He messed it up. No one else.
I 100% agree. Just because I'm down on Barnes doesn't mean I want him fired. That's what I think a lot of people get messed up. I mean, we were how our football program is now when Barnes came in.
Well, that's the line that people fail to see. There is, fairly criticizing a coach for the failures of a team, which is fair. People take that as wanting the coach fired. But if you talk about Bruce Pearl, if you talk about, getting another coach, then the only way you get a new coach is to fire the current one. So, I think a lot of people say a lot but don't say anything. And it's, I see people complaining, which they should be complaining because the team didn't play well and the season hasn't been where it needed to be. Are you criticizing the coach because he has done a good job, but still saying he needs to be the head coach? Or are you criticizing the coach saying that Tennessee needs to go get someone better? that's where sometimes, I get caught up with some people's critique. What are you really saying? Are you saying we need a different coach, or are you just saying that this coach didn't do a good job, but you still think he's the best fit for Tennessee?
Yeah, I don't want him gone, and I appreciate. My thing with Pearl is, I've said it before on here. The man called my brother in the hospital asking us to watch, and that's how I became a Tennessee basketball fan. So he's kind of my first love, I guess you could say. But that don't mean I want Barnes fired.
Didn't?
But you want Pearl back.
Oh, I'd love to have him back, but I
you
know
can't.
he's never coming back.
Did Fulmer reach out to your brother?
Yeah, he did.
You turned on Fulmer. Fulmer
As an athletic director, not as a coach.
Fulmer ruined the football program, kind of like Bruce Pearl ruined the basketball program for a couple years after he left.
That's fair.
And the basketball program really didn't struggle that bad. I mean,
Not compared to the football team.
no, I mean they
But it set the
bounced
best-
they bounced back. You get Conzo, and you start getting players.
Yeah.
And football's been struggling. Will struggle way. It'll be harder for longer because of Pruitt and Fulmer than what happened with Bruce Pearl.
Swain, we're not struggling. We're rebuilding. Didn't you know that?
Man, we struggling.
I didn't know that when you had a position on the roster that you could just quit recruiting that position until that player got ready to leave. I thought that was neat.
It's a reason why it's best that some fans are fans and not recruiting coordinators.
Well, I will stay positive. I do think this team is still capable of being in the Final Eight. I mean, you only have to win, one game to get in the Final Eight of the tournament?
I mean, with COVID, if they have a couple folks forfeit, they might be in the Final Eight, but I don't see it.
Oh, I'm talking about the SEC tournament, not the
the final
big tournament.
I mean,
They're already in the Final Eight.
Okay, see, there you go.
see,
We got to win one.
Is that the positive? Is that the positivity that you've been looking for?
Yeah. What's frustrating with this team, like last year sucked, but you knew we didn't have anything. This year we've got talent on the team, but they're not a boy band. They're not in sync, I guess you could say.
They are not. Jane Springer has some truth bombs. About that. I mean, Jane Springer was just basically saying that folks ain't locked in like they should be. And anytime your freshman is saying that, they let you know something ain't right. He says, I feel like it's mental and it's effort too. We need to go out there and play hard at the end of the day. That's all it takes. You have to get your mental right. You can't do it without being mentally locked in and mentally prepared. I feel like that is one of the biggest things we definitely have to fix. This is at the end of February.
Yeah, first day of March. Guys, I am excited, though. I'm going to go watch Tony Vitello this Saturday. My first game I've been to since 2009.
Enjoy it. Tell the kiddos who said, hey,
planning on
man,
it.
enjoy it.
And I'll be at Dead End for lunch. We can discuss positivity.
Let's do it.
Oh, I do before go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I say let's do it.
Okay. All right. I'll message you when we're going to be there. Swain, I wanted to share a stat with you. I hope y'all get Russell Wilson. I really do. He's had 530 touchdowns or more seasons since he's been in the league. And Bears quarterbacks have had 0 since 1922. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the stat. Appreciate you. Always a good friend dropping that type of information. Thank you. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Like, it's time. Like, guys, stop talking about Rick Barnes, Bruce Pearl like there's an option between the two. Pearl is gone. He is gone.
It's never going to stop, Swain. We have this conversation every
But
year.
folks look ridiculous, man. It's to the point where folks look ridiculous. Is Pearl Barnes' daddy? Yes. Auburn is Tennessee's daddy. We can't beat them right now. But Pearl is not coming back. Pearl is the reason why Pearl is not coming back. And if it wasn't for a Final Four run for Auburn, for Bruce Pearl, he would be in more hot water than he is right now. They have to forfeit their postseason, because of his stuff that he has not learned from. I love Pearl when he was here. I think he's a great coach. I think his players match his personality. They're dogs. They're intense. But he ain't coming back. Look weird. Posting a bunch of Bruce Pearl photos all the time. Orange. He ain't coming back. Swain Event. Be right back.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Around the SEC, powered by 42nd Street Marketing, your game-winning play call for design, marketing, and branding.
All right, it's time for Around the SEC this morning. And on the Monday, there's always things going on over the weekend in this conference. Doesn't matter what sport it is. There's always movement, always news. And today, Ben, what we got?
We have a significant player in the transfer portal. Former LSU tight end Eric Gilbert. And now former Florida commitment Eric Gilbert has backed off of his commitment to the Gators. So Eric Gilbert entered the transfer portal. That was a source of great deal of drama about a month or so ago. He committed to Florida, and he's not, I guess technically he is back in the transfer portal, but he backed off of his commitment from transferring to Florida. And you would be stunned to know that Harrison Bailey quickly tweeted at Eric Gilbert and put 4 orange emojis and said, "Come ball, family," with family in all caps. Harrison Bailey, current Tennessee sophomore quarterback, was the high school quarterback of Eric Gilbert at Alpharetta High School there. Oh, not Alpharetta, Marietta. Sorry. I get the two mixed up. Alpharetta is where Dobbs played. Harrison played at Marietta. Sorry. I get the two mixed up often. But those two played together in high school. Also played with Ramel Keaton, your boy Swain. So Ramel Keaton still on the team from all indications after sitting out the last half of the season to focus on academics, according to Jeremy Pruitt at the time. So who knows? Maybe there's a connection that could lead to Eric Gilbert coming to Tennessee. What, you don't want him?
I didn't say that.
Your facial expression gave off that feeling.
I mean, I don't think we're in a position to be turning away talent, but
No.
I mentioned this kind of in passing the last time Eric Gilbert was mentioned. LSU. There's more to Eric Gilbert than just football. There's some baggage there, and I don't know if a new coach can handle that. I mean, that saga down at LSU where he was in the portal, was going to transfer, announced he's going to the portal, but the name wasn't officially in there until a couple of days. The LSU was fighting like heck to keep him in. He finally goes in, and then he commits to Florida, and now he's decommitting. And at some point, just like coaches who say no to SEC jobs, at some point, if you're a coach, you might have to say no to off the field distractions or baggage. You would think that a coach would love to be in the SEC and get paid $4 or $5 million, but we have learned over the last couple of coaching searches that that's not the case. Some folks would just rather have their peace than have the money, because more money, more problems, more money, more drama. And there are coaches who say no to players who are really talented, really good, just because they don't want to damage the chemistry with their team. And Tennessee's trying to build that right now from scratch. I mean, you're bringing in third-party companies to help build leadership. Is Tennessee in a place where you can take a guy like Eric Gilbert, as talented as he is? And I look at the basketball team, and it's not because we have selfish dudes. Because I think the guys on our team are unselfish. But this is a dynamic that Tennessee has faced for the first time under Rick Barnes. And that is, you have recruited like you've always wanted to recruit. You've always wanted to recruit with the Kentuckys and the Dukes and the Blue Bloods. You finally have done that. The North Carolinas, you finally have done that. And you are experiencing what they have experienced in times when they don't reach their potential. And that is a lack of chemistry. You have these one and dones come in here, and everyone knows that you're just renting them for 1 year. Look at the teams that are good right now. They are veteran, experienced teams: Baylor, Michigan, Gonzaga. And Gonzaga has a 5-star in there, but they have a veteran group. And Tennessee's last really good team was a veteran group. You gotta have a veteran group. Look at Ohio State. Look at Iowa. I mean, the Big Ten is the best conference in the land in basketball. But go look at those teams. The one and done teams, man, they are not good right now.
Well, the problem is Tennessee does have a veteran group. It's just these veterans are built different than the veterans we had.
They are built different. So that's the double-edged sword.
Like
that's so sharp.
John Fulkerson, Yves Pons, Victor Bailey Jr., they've played enough basketball at this level to where they should be able to lead the proper way. Even Josiah Jordan-James and Santiago Vescovi, they're approaching, although they're at the end. They've played plenty of basketball.
Yeah,
for point.
but Vescovi, he's only been here a year.
That's fine. I'm throwing Josiah into that conversation. Josiah has played enough basketball at this level by this point to where he should.
He's one guy.
Correct.
Yeah, he can't be the only guy.
Yes.
Like,
and as we mentioned earlier, his wrist is clearly a problem. He has not looked the same the last 2 games since he had to sit out. What he missed 2 or 3 games? 2. But his stroke was pretty before he missed those 2 games, and now he can barely touch the rim. So obviously that wrist is an issue. So Tennessee does have veteran quote leaders on his team.
No, they don't. They have veterans.
They have veterans who should be leaders on their team. They have a veteran group in terms of classification on their roster. It's just they're not built the same that like Admiral or Lamonte or Bone or Grant. They're not built the same. They're different mentally.
And so how you develop that is you spend time together. You spend time together, and guys develop into that role. They don't come in. Grant wasn't that way day one. Admiral wasn't that day one. You develop into that. And so here we are at the crossroads, Tennessee basketball, where we have seen Carmelo Anthony come in as a freshman, go win national championship. We have seen Coach Cal bring in a group of freshmen and go win a championship. Like we've seen Duke with 3 first-rounders go and be the best team in the country for most of the year and slip up in the tournament and lose. But, like, we've seen Kansas go out there, bring in the Joel Embiid and the Andrew Wiggins and go compete at a high level. And so we told ourselves that's what we have to do too. We got to be the team that gets the one-and-dones, get the NBA players, and we can do that too. And you can do that. You can do that, but there is a risk because for every talented NBA freshman roster where the team goes and wins a bunch of games and do great things, that same roster with a different mental makeup of a team could absolutely underachieve. We've seen North Carolina do it. We've seen Duke do it. We've seen Kansas. We've seen these other examples. And Tennessee's just the example this year. Not saying we're selfish, because in other cases, guys have been just selfish. I'm only here 1 year. It's about me. That's not the case. It's not the case. But the dynamic is different, though. It's different this year than it has been in any other year for Rick Barnes at Tennessee. And is it going to be different next year? Because you're going to bring in 2 McDonald's All-Americans. If you're a McDonald's All-American, you're going to have to play at the NBA level most of the time. So will it change next year? When Springer and Keon leave and you bring in 2 other McDonald's All-Americans, are they going to be one-and-done guys? And if they are, what about the leadership and the makeup around the team? I don't know if Rick is going to be able to be the nice guy and keep the same exact roster. The same exact roster, minus the people that are leaving, minus the folks who graduate and move on. I don't think he's going to be able to keep the same roster and do what he wants to do and what a $5 million coach is expected to do. I just don't see it.
He can't. He can't, or else they'll get the same results next year because they're losing offensive firepower going into next season because Keon and Jaden, as of March 1st, I would guess are not going to be here next year. And I like Jemai Meshack. I think Jemai Meshack is going to be a very good basketball player for Tennessee. But he's coming in kind of like Josh Richardson, a little further along in his development at that age, a little more well-known. Josh Richardson wasn't ranked or like a 2-star, if I ever remember correctly.
Yep.
But Jay Rich was much further ahead on the defensive side of the ball than he was on the offensive side of the ball. And that's where Jemai Meshack is right now. Not saying that he's a bad offensive player, but he's much more known for his defensive ability and his athleticism and his work ethic. So what is he going to be able to provide offensively as a freshman? Who knows? I know he'll be able to contribute defensively, kind of like Keon has this year. Not saying he'll be at the level of Keon because that's asking a lot. But the roster is going to look completely different. It has to look completely different. You said earlier there needs to be some fat that is trimmed. Absolutely. And not only does fat need to be trimmed off this roster, you have to hit the transfer portal hard. You have to approach the transfer portal like Eric Musselman has at Arkansas, to where he has flipped the roster in 2 years. Kermit Davis has flipped the roster at Ole Miss. I know they haven't, won a ton of games. Kermit Davis hasn't this year or last year, but he has been able to go out and bring in some significant transfers over the offseason. Tennessee is going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Rebounding is an issue. Putting the ball in the basket from your post players is an issue. You have to go out and you have to get somebody who can rebound, who can put the ball in the hoop. And, at this point, I think John Fulkerson's best option is to come back to Tennessee. But if you're Tennessee, why would you want John Fulkerson back?
Ooh, boy.
I know that's a tough conversation because Fulke has done a lot to contribute over his time at Tennessee, and this has been a really unfortunate year, and he has dealt with issues physically, the wisdom teeth thing, the elbow and the back. I don't think it was coincidence that Rick Barnes went on the Jim Rome show last week and talked about players battling fatigue after getting over COVID. I think there's a reason that was mentioned.
It's a real thing.
So John Fulkerson has had to deal with a lot this year, but he shouldn't be this far off the beaten path. So that's a conversation Tennessee will have to have. Do they want John Fulkerson back? And I can see them wanting him back. I could also see them not wanting him back. So this roster has to look completely different. I think you have to go out and add a shooter. You have to go out and get at least 2 post players. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you trim some fat off the roster, because right now you don't have any extra roster spots.
You got to do it, man. You got to do it, which is a tough thing to do, man, especially in this year of COVID. But, that's why the $5 million coaches are paid how they pay. They got to make tough decisions.
And not only Fulke, remember Barnes said earlier in the year that EJ Anasiki's already kind of said that he's coming back. Anasiki has given you nothing.
Man,
I like EJ Anasiki.
He came in and missed just a point blank layup.
And that's why he hasn't played. He'll get the defensive rebound. He'll make a nice play on the defensive end, and then he'll go out on the offensive end on the very next possession and miss a layup. He has missed a ton of layups this season, and that's why he has not played, because if he's going to miss layups, then why not just play Olivier? It's not that dramatic of a difference in terms of rebounding and defensively between Olivier and Anasiki, and Olivier's going to make that layup 9 times out of 10. So that's why Anasiki has not played. So you have to deal with that equation as well. Does EJ Anasiki come back, even though it was already somewhat said earlier in the year that he was going to come back? Is he worth taking up a scholarship next year?
Yeah. I'm going to hit the text box up, man. We're going to change gears a little bit. Rodney says, I know who I would cut. There's about 2 or 3 guys that I would probably cut. But I ain't going to mention any names. C-Mac, I hear you. Vaughn Birmingham, we need a true big man and a pure shooter. I want a guy down low that throws elbows that no one wants part of. Man, you see that monster for Illinois? This dude's a monster.
Isn't it his
Baby Shaq?
Isn't his last name Cockburn?
Yeah, Baby Shaq. I think that's what his name is. What about Corey Walker? He's healthy now.
I don't see Corey Walker seeing anytime.
Yeah,
Seeing
he's
any
healthy
playing time
now.
anytime soon.
You can only blame injuries for so long. He's healthy now, and Devontae Gaines is playing, not Corey Walker. That should tell you something right there. Ken says Josiah Jordan James been a sub 40% shooter with or without injured wrist. Yeah, but recently he's been hitting it from the outside. Jason from the Borough says, is D'Angelo Gibbs still on this team? I do not know. I have not heard anything about D'Angelo Gibbs since he left. Volin Birmingham, the answer on Gilbert is simply yes. You cannot not take him. We need talent. If Hypo's going to win here, he has got to manage off the field issues with big-time players as well as practice with Gilbert. Birmingham, I agree. But without putting Eric Gilbert's business on the street, this is a lot. This is a lot. Volin Birmingham, you don't find it weird that one of the best players in the SEC is a true freshman who goes down to LSU after saying no to Alabama, saying no to Georgia, knowing that all that offense that you saw that probably attracted those kids, all the Joe Brady's, the Joe Burrows, all those pieces, everybody leaves. You know dang well you're not going to be in that offense. I don't care what the coach says. You're not going to be in that offense. Eric Gilbert goes down there, gets all these balls, get all these targets, and then he just leaves. And then he goes to commit to Florida, and now he's leaving Florida. Von Birmingham, I need you to put 2 and 2 together. I don't think that's an arena that Tennessee can play in or will want to play in. 90s Vol says, I love the fact that the kids on the basketball team are nice kids. They are great representatives for the university and better yet, human beings. However, we need a guy that will get up in your face sometimes. We need that Jawan Jennings juice if that team wants to be elite. Fake Bob Kesson, I'm sure you guys went over this already, but Springer's comments very telling. Seemed like there's some division between players and coaches, also division between the team. I don't care which player it is. They're not bringing in every game. Bench them and put somebody else in that's dying to get some PT. James Springer's comments was very telling. He was calling folks out. That's what he was doing. So over the weekend, I heard some rumblings. With the Tennessee football staff. We saw an assistant strength coach leave and go to South Carolina. We've heard reports of A.J. Artis trying to get out. Josh Heupel was hired. Looks like A.J. Artis is going to be, the strength coach. Well, I started hearing rumblings over the weekend that maybe he's not going to be strength coach. I'm hearing some connections between Artis and South Florida. And so I'm keeping my eyes on that to see how it plays out. Because the moment that Josh Heupel was hired, one of the things that we mentioned is, man, that is a very specific offense that needs very specific training from your players, especially on offense. But, hey, on defense too, how are you going to be able to cover these guys in practice if you're not in tip-top condition? The training is going to be different. So does Heupel bring his own guy? Does he keep a guy that's a young, bright star? A.J. Artis is a star. Not only is head coaching changes been a big problem in Tennessee, but the strength and conditioning changes have been equally a problem in Tennessee in the last decade. So keep your eyes on A.J. Artis to see what's going to happen there. I'm not saying one move is better than the other. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying A.J. Artis is the best fit or whoever Heupel wants, whoever's going to be the next strength coach, if there's a change, is the better fit. We don't know that. We won't know until we get the results. But we do have to understand that this is kind of part of it when you have change. So I'm keeping my eye on A.J. Artis in the strength conditioning program. On Friday, I'm in the car pickup line and I'm watching Ty Simpson announcement. He picks Alabama. It's a tough scenario being a Tennessee fan growing up and being at this moment and picking the arch rival. And looks like he was reading from a piece of paper, a statement. I can only imagine being in his position. In a way, I was kind of in his position, but not really. Let me know if I'm wrong. He asked people to support him
If you find it in your heart.
to go to Alabama.
I knew at that moment he was going to Alabama.
And here's what I'll say about that. He ain't talking to me. He ain't talking to you, Ben. He's not talking to the listeners. He's talking to the people around him. He's talking to people in that town. He's talking to people that had his back the whole entire time with the hope that he would go to Tennessee. That's who he's talking to. Because I don't know him. I'm not supporting him going to Alabama. I don't know Ty Simpson. I ain't supporting him. Hell no, I ain't supporting him. I'm not wishing ill on him, but I ain't supporting him. I support my guys. I support people I have a relationship with. Did I support Amari Rodgers even though he went to Clemson? You better believe it. Why? I have a relationship with him. Did I support T. Higgins? I never met T. Higgins, but I wanted him to be, successful because it was big for the community that I live in, which is in Knoxville, Oak Ridge. But Ty Simpson's on the other side of the state. I'm not supporting Ty Simpson. I'm not bad-mouthing him. I'm not going to tweet him. I'm not going to say mean things. It's his decision. It's his right to go wherever he wants to go. But I'm not supporting him. He's talking to the people in Martin. And here's one thing you better get ready for, Simpson family. You're going to know a whole lot about your friends and the people that you feel like have your back. You're going to find out a whole lot. Because ain't no way I'm going to be hoping when somebody from my hometown plays my hometown team and it's the biggest rival, ain't no way in hell I'm rooting for that young man. There's no way.
But if you were a family friend, you wouldn't.
Family? I ain't say family. I'm just
See, when you say like people close to the Simpson family, that's who I think of.
in that hometown. I mean, people, maybe a teacher that, is first grade teacher, something like that. But that's a hard ask. That's a hard ask. And I wonder if that statement was written by Ty himself or someone else, but that's a hard ask. This is a hard situation. I'm not downing the kid at all because I was from Alabama that went to Tennessee. I went to the biggest rival at a time when Alabama was on sanctions and wasn't the attractive place, and all the in-state players were leaving. Jamarcus Russell left. Jason Allen left. Amobe Okoye left. He went to Louisville, was a first-round pick in a couple of years. Aaron Sears left. Like, all these guys left. Chad Jackson left, went to Florida, was a second-round pick with the Patriots. Like, all these guys left. So I did the exact same thing that Ty Simpson did. The difference is I didn't grow up as a Bama fan. Ty Simpson grew up as a Tennessee fan. And that stinks. And if I'm Tennessee, I move on. I don't continue to recruit him. That's just me.
Well, I would have said the same thing had Sam Horn not committed to Missouri. But now I continue to recruit Ty Simpson and Sam Horn in hopes that maybe you can get them to flip. The likelihood is better with Sam Horn, in my opinion, than Ty Simpson. But I at least continue to kick the tires. Now you want to make sure you have a good mix of spending time continuing to recruit those two and also evaluating new quarterbacks and recruiting the new quarterbacks that you identify. But I would still kick the tires. I would have a different opinion if Sam Horn did not commit to Missouri. I kind of shared that last week, where if Sam Horn was uncommitted, then I'd be all my eggs would be in Sam Horn's basket, and I would forget about Ty Simpson.
Simpson, they went dark, like dark, and I wouldn't personally.
Well, if that's the case, then obviously I would not continue to try.
Yeah, I wouldn't continue.
But
but
that's different than what he has put off publicly.
correct. So Sam Horn, I started hearing rumblings that he would commit to Missouri. And he had pulled the trigger yesterday. Tennessee has been putting a full court press on Sam Horn for, way before Ty Simpson made this announcement. We'll continue the conversation, hour 3.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Hey there, Swain Event listeners. I'm excited to share my new Keller Williams Realty app so you can tour homes without leaving yours. Not only can you search for homes in specific areas and neighborhoods, you can also have access to real-time market snapshots on stats like average home price and days on market, plus commute times from your office, school zones, and much more. Download my app today and get the most accurate information on buying, selling, and investing in real estate in your area. Just search for the Keller Williams Realty app and click on More in the lower right-hand corner. Type in Jennifer Morris in the Your Agent search bar, then save and you're set. And as always, feel free to reach out at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. Guys, prioritizing your health now is more important than ever, not only to build your immune system, but to address any chronic health issues you may have. I recommend Low T Center. They exclusively specialize in men's wellness and follow strict medical guidelines for your health and safety. They are one of the leading men's medical providers in the country. Low T Center has reinvented the doctor's visit, making it quick and easy to get all of your levels checked, not just your testosterone. It starts with an annual wellness exam, where they do a comprehensive health assessment so you know all the numbers to your health. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, have noticed a weight gain, or loss of muscle mass, these can all be signs of low testosterone level, low thyroid, or even sleep apnea. Low T Center can determine the cause and help. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment, including a take-home blood pressure monitoring cuff. At Low T Center, most insurance is accepted. Book your annual wellness exam or annual physical today. Go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hour 3 of the Swain event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Jason Swain here. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Reinventing men's healthcare. Feel like you again. Let us help. 865-255-03. Irish Networks hotline. 90 days, no payment for business internet. IrishNetworksUSA.com. Oh boy, what a weekend for Tennessee fans.
Was not fun. Saturday was not a good sports day at all. At all. Basketball team lost. Baseball team struggled. Couldn't hit with runners in scoring position in game 1, and then in game 2, pitching struggled and had to even up the series with Indiana State on Sunday. And Indiana State has a good ball club. They'll be a really good team in their conference. But Tennessee just shot themselves in the foot. Just did not play clean baseball. Did get the win on Sunday, though, to even up the series. And even though they won, their best pitcher got hurt, dealing with a hamstring injury. And they don't know the full extent of the injury, but doesn't sound like he'll be available the next week or two. Jackson Leith, that is. So not great news that your best pitcher, has to leave with an injury. So just it's not a good weekend outside of the Lady Vols. And kudos to the baseball team for bouncing back and at least splitting with Indiana State this weekend. It would have been easy to just kind of fold and mail it in for the weekend. But they fought back, came out swinging on Sunday, had 3 runs in the first inning, did blow the lead late in the game. So it was 5-5 going into extras, but shout outs to them for shouts out to them for pulling off the win. They have a big series coming up this weekend against Georgia State. Georgia State, a very good baseball team. So that'll be a tough challenge next weekend. At least we don't have to worry about Tennessee basketball ruining one of our nights this week. It'll just ruin our Sunday when it takes on Florida.
Yeah, Florida beat Kentucky, man. Had a Trey Man took over. Castleton was a problem down the post. He gonna eat our lunch.
Maybe the week off will change everything, Swain. Maybe they'll just flip the switch, take over.
Yeah, Brad did mention this. I don't know how much it makes me feel any better, but Georgia State beat Vanderbilt in baseball.
Georgia State's got a good ball team. Tennessee better be ready to play next weekend, or Georgia State will take their lunch as well.
Tennessee, and Don called in and mentioned this, that Tennessee did extend an offer to quarterbacks. Drew Aller, looks like how you pronounce it, from Medina, Ohio, 6'5", 230. Tennessee did extend an offer to him. Caden Martin, the son of T. Martin, very Knox Catholic, baseball, football, dual sport athlete, is going to make his announcement on the 3rd.
Wednesday.
And he's picking between Arizona State, Miami, Oregon, and Tennessee. And
4 interesting choices.
I thought T. Martin was going to go to Arizona State to be receiver coach.
So you think that's where Caden goes?
I don't know. I thought that T would go to Arizona State. When I put 2 and 2 together, I saw that Arizona State was one of his top schools. I thought it made sense for him to go to a place where T will go to and be the coach. And maybe T does that after a year in the NFL. But remember, T was linked to Miami before he came to Tennessee as a potential offensive coordinator. I don't know if you remember that. He was very successful on the West Coast recruiting. So, Oregon would definitely benefit from a T. Martin. So it just, the 3 out of the 4 finalists for Cade Martin have the opportunity to possibly bring in T. Martin and have Caden there too. So that's how I put 2 and 2 together. This is just awkward to me.
But Mama's going to be in Knoxville, I assume.
I don't know. I don't.
I'm assuming, but I would be kind of surprised if the whole family moved up to Baltimore just because you don't know how long T's going to be there.
Well, I mean, yeah, Mama's going to be here. Caden is finishing his last year. Yeah. I mean, Caden is where he needs to be. He's at Catholic. It's a great school, great program. They put a lot of resources into winning and giving the athletes everything they need to be successful. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that Caden is staying here, not going to Baltimore. Develop some friendships there. He's going to be a senior. Yeah, man.
Well, and I was mentioning it in relation to one of the 4 schools he's going to pick from. One of the 4 schools is in Knoxville. Mama is going to be in Knoxville. And I would encourage people to view this through the lens of Caden, the baseball player. I speculate that this will be more of a baseball decision than a football decision, and maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe he'll lean with the football program over the baseball program, but I would encourage folks. Maybe I shouldn't encourage since I'm speculating. I am speculating that he is viewing this as more of a baseball decision than a football decision, just because he is a better baseball player than he is a quarterback, and he has a better shot at being a professional baseball player than a professional football player. He may get drafted out of high school next year, and he's probably the top baseball player in the state of Tennessee. So, and it just has always felt, Swain, like baseball was more the priority than playing quarterback at the college level. So personally, just kind of piecing the puzzle pieces together again.
There you go.
I think this will be more of a baseball decision, which helps Tennessee.
It's just weird.
Now, Miami and Arizona State do have really good baseball programs. Arizona State just had the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and Miami is top 20, top 15 baseball program right now. Upset number 1 Florida last week. So and Oregon's got a good baseball program. I guess I'm just not taking Oregon seriously because it's all the way out on the West Coast. I know Arizona State is too, and Miami's not close, but Oregon just seems so much further away. I'll be curious to see where he goes.
It's just weird. It's just weird. Why is it weird? Let me explain. And I'm going to take it back. In 2013, when Butch Jones had an opportunity to hire T. Martin, T. Martin comes and it's not your normal, hey, let's kick the tires on the assistant coach, let's see what's going on, let's have a conversation. It was public. There's cameras interviewing T in the airport. And when he didn't come, it set T up to be a target without people knowing, hey, man, Tennessee didn't offer T enough. Butch Jones and company lowballed T. Martin. Of course, he wanted to come, but couldn't. They lowballed him, so he didn't come. But making it public that he was looking at Tennessee, even though, you got kids here in Knoxville, and the fact that he was interviewing at the airport and all this stuff, it kind of built the excitement for him coming back. When he didn't, no one thought to blame Butch Jones. They just pointed fingers at T. Then T gets here into Pruitt. The receivers play well last year. This year they did not. Then the whole thing with the NCAA and Pruitt and the staff not being on the same page. And then, you understand that T was promised, something that could not be followed through on because the promise came from Coach Former. Coach Former was, kind of probably pushed to retire. And so there was no way for that promise to go through because you got a new coach. You got a new coach. So that divorce was kind of messy. But then Danny White, Chancellor Plowman, they do a good job of making the best of the situation. T's exit interview with Athletic, he doesn't say anything bad about Tennessee. It's handled. It's handled the right way. Now, one day after one of Tennessee's top quarterback targets commits to a SEC program, and then 2 days after the top Tennessee in-state quarterback target commits to an SEC program, the rival, Caden Martin comes out and he is going to announce his decision on a Wednesday. It's just all weird to me.
Tennessee needs his quarterback.
It's just all weird. I mean, do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand why this is weird to me?
Yes. The Sam Horn, Ty Simpson thing doesn't make it as weird. What makes it weird to me is just the whole T. Martin situation in general.
The whole timeline is weird to me.
Yeah. This is the price of digging deep enough to fire your head football coach. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. This is all a product of Tennessee firing Jeremy Pruitt. I'm not saying they made the wrong decision, the right decision.
They had to.
They had to. But if Jeremy Pruitt was winning, the shovel would not have been as big. It would not have. And the information probably would have come out eventually, whether it was Tennessee digging on Jeremy Pruitt or the NCAA or something else. It all would have come out at some point. But right now, it would have come out after you had Ty Simpson. It would have come out after Eric Gray graduated or moved on to the NFL, things of that nature. So, from a football perspective, Jeremy Pruitt's job definitely should have been in question because even just simply football, the football team took a massive step back this year in terms of results and quality on the field. And then you kind of look at the locker room dynamic and the coaching staff dynamic. It was a complete cluster. So Jeremy Pruitt was on his way to being fired for production on the football field. But it was expedited by Tennessee digging with a bigger shovel than it needed to. I mean, this is the price that you pay for firing Jeremy Pruitt, whether it was right or wrong. This is the unfortunate result of that situation. You don't get Ty Simpson. It's going to take a miracle to flip Sam Horn.
Please, folks.
The situation with T. Martin.
Please, folks, don't do this to yourself. Don't tell yourself that Tennessee shouldn't have fired Pruitt just because Ty Simpson didn't come to Tennessee. Don't do that.
Because at the rate that the culture was going, it would not have mattered if Ty Simpson was at Tennessee. Ty Simpson would not have flourished under Jeremy Pruitt. I fully believe that. Not because of Ty Simpson, but because of who he was playing for and the culture that was instilled, which makes it so frustrating that he was willing to play for Jeremy Pruitt, and that sack of garbage, the football program, Jeremy Pruitt's football program, not calling Jeremy Pruitt a sack of garbage, but he was willing to play for that mess, yet he wouldn't even truly give Josh Heupel a chance.
Yeah, because Josh Heupel probably wasn't entertaining bringing Dad in. Now, the more I think about it, the more that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. But don't sit here and act like you just grew up some diehard Tennessee fan, yet you're not even willing to give a new coach a true listen.
What do you mean? You mean you don't believe him?
No, not really. Not in hindsight. To not listen, like not to truly listen.
He did listen.
Yeah,
he didn't listen. He just didn't listen for long because he was put in a position.
He didn't truly listen then.
He did listen.
Not truly.
What's truly?
It seems like he listened to Josh Heupel out of courtesy, not going into the conversation looking to hear him out. To me, that is not truly listening.
Are you talking about one conversation or multiple?
Multiple.
Okay, so you have Alabama and you have Clemson who are like, hey, man, we need to know or we're moving on. And if we move on, we're not looking back. So you have to add that part of it in there. And so Ty could have just made his announcement without the whole set up at a school. I think Ty Simpson can be a Tennessee fan, grow up as a Tennessee fan, and still be like, hey, man, this is best for my future, and still gave Heupel an opportunity, but he was about to miss the boat. Like
I get that aspect.
He's about to get passed up.
I get that.
And so you have to add that in too. I'm not going to try to invalidate. I don't know if I use that word right. I'm not going to try to take away from him being a lifetime Tennessee fan. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe him just because he didn't pick Tennessee, because I don't think that's fair. Or we know that.
I don't either. I wasn't trying to communicate that in terms of like picking. I don't blame him at all for going to Alabama or Clemson given the current circumstance. But it seems like he didn't give Josh Heupel the time of day. And then
he did.
It doesn't feel like it.
But when was Josh Heupel hired? Josh Heupel was hired weeks ago, and Ty's been pressured by Alabama and Clemson for months. I mean, he's been pressured, and Ty had tried to string this thing as long as he could. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that Ty, handled everything perfectly and with Tennessee, because there's not a way to handle things perfectly when you have three schools that all want you, and two of them have won, 6-7 national championships in the last decade or so, whatever. And they're saying, hey, we need to know answer now. There's going to be somebody that have their feathers ruffled. I'm pretty sure Clemson is upset too. Ty could be a Tennessee fan and gave Heupel an opportunity, but he didn't have a choice but to make a pick at this moment at the end of February, because Clemson and Alabama was about to leave him. They were about to move on. So if you Ty Simpson, what do you do? Honestly, let's put ourselves in Ty Simpson's shoes. What have you've done differently?
Gone to Tennessee
without thinking with your heart.
Mm-hmm. It feels to me like he let Tennessee on at the end. That's just how I perceive the situation. I may be wrong, but that's my
I
perception.
mean, I'm
of
sure.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. And remember last week, I was like, if you truly want to preserve your announcement, you either don't tell the team that you're not going to, that you're not coming. You make everyone feel like that you're going there. If you're really trying to preserve your announcement. If not, people are going to know where you're going before you even announce it. So why even have an assembly? Why even have an announcement? Why even do that if people are going to know anyway? People dropping crystal balls here and there and there. So if you really want to have your announcement, your time, your day, if you really want to have that, you're going to piss off other schools because you have to keep them in the dark. You have to. You have to do that. Because the moment that you're Jerry Garantano and you think you're doing what's right by telling Ohio State, hey, I'm picking Tennessee, and then Ohio State leaks it out before you announce, your announcement is screwed. Ohio State stole your moment. And that's what happens. It happens that way. So I'm just trying to give you a different angle to think about for those that question Ty Simpson's, childhood favorite team. It could be his childhood favorite team, and he had no choice but to pick a school at that very moment, and he was afraid of getting left. Because when they leave you, when the bus leaves, they're not turning around. I'm not supporting them. So I can't find it in my heart to support you. So, man, I don't know you. And I hate Alabama.
Yeah, you're going to
So
Alabama.
I'm not supporting you, young man. You're talking to the people in Martin. I'm not going to support you, but I will defend you to folks that question how much you grew up as a Tennessee fan. Now, Vaughn Birmingham makes a good point. I wouldn't have went on Tennessee radio. I would have taken Tennessee out of consideration and just just saw I want embarrassing them on my commitment day. I would have just had Clemson, Alabama hats on the table because that is who I was considering. Yes, the 3-hour lunch interview,
which he's doing again today.
Doing again today with Ron Slay. Now, he did say he made his decision the night before, which I don't know, man. I've heard stories about him being a solid commit to Alabama for a while. But he said that he made the decision the night before. Now, if he made the decision the night before, I'm okay with the 104.5 interview. But if the decision was made before the 105 interview and you got on there and you said what you said, yeah, I ain't feeling that one. I ain't feeling that.
And that's my point. Like, I don't understand how you could, if that is the case, how could you treat the team you grew up liking like that?
If you made the decision the night before.
Yes.
But again, you don't know that. We don't
correct.
know that.
That's why I said if that was the case to your scenario that you threw out there, that if he had previously committed silently and then he goes on and strings Tennessee along, I don't know how you could do that to the team you supposedly grew up liking.
Agree. I agree. I couldn't do that. But
I understand him going to Alabama. It is the correct business decision. We as fans cannot sit here and get mad at Tennessee ourselves and dog cuss Tennessee ourselves and talk about how bad we've been and how stupid our decision making is, and then act surprised when a kid doesn't want to come here, especially when Alabama's in the equation, or get upset with a kid for not coming here and going to a school like Alabama when we recognize the dysfunction of Tennessee. It's hypocritical of us.
Yeah, if there's one,
so I understand the business decision. I'm not questioning that at all. I, quite frankly, probably made the right decision, as painful as that is to say.
If you want to put your energy in somebody and be mad at somebody, it's Jeremy Pruitt.
Yes, he cost us Ty Simpson. Yeah. Jeremy Pruitt cost Tennessee Ty Simpson. Now, I'm sure he's smiling today because he ended up going to the school that he wanted him to go to all along. You know, Jeremy Pruitt already has a number 6 Alabama Ty Simpson jersey ordered. He's already. I bet he's wearing it in the Giants complex right now.
Ty Simpson. I know Alabama fans see Pruitt as a great soldier.
Yep, they do.
Because I mean,
I never hear the end of it.
Man, he went to the enemy
And made them worse.
And blew it up, man.
Which is remarkable after Butch Jones blew it up.
Let me go to the phones.
We've got Volstorm.
Volstorm, good morning.
Y'all done with your rant, or you need another couple minutes?
Oh, ain't no rant. Just chit chatting. I know you got a rant.
Chit chatting.
Just chit chat.
Chit chat on the Swain
not
Event.
me. I don't do that. I just bring up, facts.
What's the facts?
Fact of the matter is that Ty Simpson made the absolute best decision for Ty Simpson.
He did.
You're going to a school where you're going to get a lot of prestige, where you're going to get noticed, where there have been plenty of, NFL players come out of there. That was the best business decision he could possibly make.
Correct.
The problem is when you get on Nashville radio and you basically try to pump up Tennessee, and then you have this big, big announcement in the middle of your hometown, knowing that it's surrounded by Tennessee fans. And I understand the kid wanting all the attention on them, but when you kind of go out of your way to, let's say, troll Tennessee fans, that's a bit much.
Yeah. If he knew that he was going to Bama before the night before the announcement.
Yeah, that
you cannot tell me that he made that decision the night before. You cannot tell me that. I do not believe it.
I don't either. If I had to pick whether he knew the night before or he knew well before, and I couldn't, be in the middle of the road, I had to pick one side, I would pick that he knew well before.
Yeah.
He was at least leaning to Alabama.
Yep.
He could have made the final decision the night before, but it was probably already a decision before he, quote, made the final decision, before he sat down at the dinner table and kind of talked through it with his parents. He was already leaning a particular way.
Because one thing I have a hard time with is I have a hard time believing that he was going to come here even if Pruitt was here.
It's funny because, like, when Pruitt was here, and this is before I even, like, started, the possibility of his dad joining the staff could happen.
Right.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, they gotta bring his dad on. They gotta bring his dad on. And I said this was like on the show well before that was possible. That possibly could be a thing. And that would have been a different dynamic too, especially if he was a quarterback's coach. He needed to be like a different coach, different position, because that would have been very weird for other quarterbacks in that room. But I'm starting to believe like that was real, because why in the heck would Ty Simpson want to come be in an offense with Jim Chaney while Pruitt is micromanaging him after seeing what happened the last 2 years the last 3 years with the offense? Why would Ty Simpson want to sign up for that? Well, because it had to be something else. Had to be another part of the equation. Had to be. Mark from Norris says Ty said in an interview at the committee that he knew 1st of February.
Right.
So
I saw that quote too.
Which one is it?
That's what he told the Bama folks who interviewed him afterwards, which, if it was the beginning of February, he went on Nashville radio and hyped up Tennessee, acted like Tennessee had a legitimate chance, acted like he was still talking with Tennessee, knowing that he was going to Alabama.
So, if that's the case, then I'm looking at Jason Simpson going, really? Really? Really, coach? Really? Like, I expect this from a recruit that's never been through this process before. Maybe there's not a father figure in the house. Don't know how to handle the situation. But I'm surprised that this happened the way it happened when you have a division, I won't say division one, a college football head coach.
That deals with recruiting on a daily basis.
How did you allow for your son to contradict himself, get on national radio, and say those things while citing being a Tennessee fan growing up? The support system. Y'all did not handle this right, Todd Simpson. Because we all can agree, Volstorm being myself, we can all agree that the business move is Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go Alabama. But don't get on national radio talking about all this, all that. Don't say that you didn't think, that you didn't know until the night before, and then say to someone else that you knew in February. That's the problem.
And that's
the problem.
That's when you know people are lying.
That's the problem.
When their stories are different to
That's
different
the problem.
people.
Yep, that's the problem. That's the problem. So I'm not even like disappointed in Ty, because Ty's 17, 18 years old, man. How'd y'all let him do this? Support system? Head coach dad? How did y'all let this happen? All you had to do is just shut up and make an announcement and go to Alabama. But this is what happens when you want the attention. So he wanted the attention. Because your son deserved the attention. Don't get me wrong, he deserved the attention. But when you want the attention, this is what can go wrong. And it went wrong. It went wrong, man. Conflicting stories. Not a good look. Sorry, Volstorm. That was a rant. Not bad, Volstorm.
Is Volstorm still there?
Sorry about that, Volstorm.
Volstorm. Did you mute yourself?
My bad, Volstorm.
He must be traveling to West End to meet his new head football coach, Clark Lee. If must be running out of service.
So yeah, I was unaware of the comments he made to Alabama site. If he knew in February, or was he just trying to say that to sound good in front of the Alabama folks? But it don't matter. You be true to yourself, and you say what you mean what you say. You don't say things just to try to impress who you're talking to. And if you say what you mean what you say, you don't find yourself in this situation. He didn't do that. And his support staff failed him. Very surprising. Very surprising when you have a head coach as a father, college program. Very surprised that this happened like this. Very surprising.
See if I can find the quotes here for you. It was written by the Tuscaloosa News. I'll try to find them for you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, if he made those comments to the Alabama media, I understand why he's getting the backlash that he's getting.
Tidesports.com. These were the quotes. Let me answer the phone first.
Better not be Volstorm, man. He should have said something when we told him to. He interrupting your quote. Can't believe it, man. Can't believe it. Dad's a head coach.
Ty said, it really came down to player development and finding the right fit for me, from being ready for the NFL with Bill O'Brien and Nick Saban being there every day. Being there with those guys will make me a better player.
Cool. Yeah.
It feels great to say blankety blank and know you're going to one of the top programs in the nation.
Okay.
Talking to Nick Saban every day this week was awesome, and I want to play for him. Seeing that emotion from the greatest college football coach ever is pretty awesome.
Okay.
He thought through things thoroughly, but at the end of the day, he wanted to play in the SEC. This is what Jason Simpson said, specifically the SEC West and win a national championship. I told him to go through what is important to him, not me, and I told him not to get strayed with fans talking to one player or one coach. Ty said, I went through every scenario, but in the end, I felt like the best scenario for me was Alabama. Okay. I went to bed with one school in my mind, but I woke up and felt like Alabama was the best place for me. I didn't have this was his coach. I didn't have as near and intense of a recruiting process as he did, but I told him what I thought. So this particular article does not say one way or the other.
Yeah, I need to see that or see those comments about him knowing in February he's going to Alabama. But Tennessee now has to find themselves a 2022 quarterback. It don't matter how many quarterbacks they have on the roster. It don't matter. They need a 2022 quarterback. Heupel needs his quarterback. That does not mean that Salter won't be the guy. Hooker won't be the guy. Bailey won't be the guy. Mauer won't be the guy. It does not mean that because they could be the guy. Lane Kiffin brought in Bryce Brown. That was his guy, but Monterio was better. But the last thing we need is to look up and in 2 years, that was the case with the previous regime. 2 years, the offensive coordinator or the person responsible for the offense did not have a quarterback that he handpicked going into his second year. Jim Chaney did not have a quarterback that he handpicked. That cannot happen with Josh Heupel. He's an offensive guy, him and the offensive coordinator. They must get a quarterback that they handpick in this class. And again, I'll reiterate, does not mean that he's going to have the advantage over the quarterbacks or is going to be the guy over the quarterbacks that we currently have. But I don't want to hear nothing 2 years from now like we did Jim Chaney, like, oh, man, Jim Chaney don't even have his guy. He don't even have a guy that he recruited. He's a second year as offense coordinator. He don't even have the guy that he recruited. That's not what we need. So, can somebody find that quote where he said Ty Simpson said that he knew in February?
Said it was a CBS article. I'm looking for it now.
Because that's very, very important to my to how I feel, in my opinion.
Well, the
Very
true indication that Ty Simpson knew he was going to Alabama is the fact that he got the 5-star bump before he actually committed.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. So, do I think Ty Simpson knew night before? Yes. But if he said he only knew the night before, I'll take him out. I'll take his word for it. I can have my opinion, but I'll take his word for it unless there is a contradicting golly, I messed up the word, statement made by him. All right, I'm moving on.
Good. I'm tired of Ty Simpson.
I'm moving on, man. I'm moving on. Oh, SCVFL tweeted the story at me, so let me check it out. Maybe we have it. Oh!
That was a rival story, not a.
I'm February 1, I knew it was Bama for me. So it'll be said to Chad Simmons of Rivals.
He went on Nashville radio well after that.
So my stance on Tide support system, that I stand by it.
Ty Simpson went on Nashville radio. That's January. February 12th.
There it is. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses. Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suit your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Home service problems occur, even at the most inconvenient times, like during a health crisis. And Tiller is always here to help you 24/7. As people are social distancing and staying at home on workdays, it's an easier time to take care of home maintenance items that you feel are necessary. And we've put new safety precautions in place, like wearing gloves, avoiding physical contact, new sanitation protocols, and limiting time in your home. We're here for you.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare. Tennessee, Florida, man.
Well, it's not for another week. Do we have to talk about it right now?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I don't want to. I don't know what else we're going to talk about.
You can't avoid it.
But I don't want to. I can avoid it until the end of the week at least. I'd
You
rather
think
talk.
Tennessee can fix whatever's going on in the week? That's enough time. Guys are healed. Enough time to take a step back.
So so to you, the issue is leadership.
It's one of the issues.
What do you think is the biggest issue? Leadership?
The biggest.
You think that is affecting how they perform?
I see what you're getting. I don't think the biggest issue can be fixed in a week. I see where you're going.
Well, I think the biggest issue can be fixed in a week depending on what the issue is. This is one of those issues that cannot be fixed within a week.
Well, focusing on pawns, they're just not. They're not fire-breathing dragons.
Did you agree with what I was saying earlier? During touchdown or turnover, that the bigger issue with Folky and Pons is that they're not playing, especially Folky. Folky's not playing to the level that he is capable of. If he was, then the need for leadership wouldn't be as dire from him personally. It would kind of be taking care of itself.
No, I don't agree. Because I think with leadership, and we've seen this. I got a perfect example for you, my friend. There was times that Adam Schofield couldn't make shots, that he didn't play well. There was times that Grant Williams didn't drop 20. But the team found a way. Other guys stepped up. They found other ways to help the basketball team. They still had a purpose. You can struggle, man. Basketball, sometimes you can have the perfect stroke, but it's gonna hit the ball's gonna hit every part of the rim and not go in. It happens. It happens. If the leadership was where it needed to be, we wouldn't look lost. We wouldn't go through stretches where you have 3 or 4 turnovers in a row and you don't see anybody talking to each other. Like, I don't even see guys talking to each other. So, if the leadership was there, even when one guy's struggling, you want to pick that player up by doing other things right, playing a certain type of way. There's known roles. Everyone plays their role. We don't have any known roles. Jaden's like, well, I guess I just go do it then. Keon's like, well, I guess I got to go do it. So, like, I think you make a good point. I just don't agree with it. I do think that if this team had leadership, better leadership from upperclassmen, that even when guys struggle, this team would be outside the top 25 like they are right now.
I just don't know that Fulkerson could lead effectively, even if he still had that personality.
He can't. No, he don't.
Because, well, I'm saying if he did, if he had the personality to lead, but was also struggling the way that he has this season, I think it would be hard for some of the other guys on the team to take him seriously because they see him doing what he's doing on the floor, and yet he's still trying to bark out orders and trying to lead the way. I think it would be hard in that because then you're not leading by example. You may have the right mindset of a leader, but your play is not leading by example. Would you agree that you kind of have to have both?
No, if you are struggling if you're going through a slump, because we go through slumps.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going through a slump and you're a leader, you still lead. I mean, Kurt Magid was hurt and was still a leader. He was not even playing and was making an impact on the sideline. You're either a leader or you're not. And so you're not a real leader if you can only say something when you're playing at the top of your game. You can only hold guys accountable when you're playing at the top of the game. as long as you're playing hard, doing everything right, practicing hard, things like that, if you're struggling in the games, you still should be able to lead your troops. But he's not saying anything when he's struggling because he's not a leader. It's not in him. It's not in him. It's not. And you don't lead when things are just going good, when you're playing well. You lead even when you're not playing well. Because you cannot play well on one side of the court. That has nothing to do with your rebounding. Rebounding is effort. Defense is effort. You can impact the game in other ways. You could be a great screener. Screening is effort, concentration. You don't have to score the ball to impact. Dude, look at Draymond Green. Dude has had more assists than points in the last couple of games. The brother had 19 assists. He's not even scoring like that. But his impact is so strong. He's a leader. And when the shots are not falling, he finds other ways to impact. He finds other ways to lead his troops. And that's what Fulke doesn't do. It's not in him. He's a good kid. I ain't gonna say anything about his character. It's just not in him.
Well, then no, I don't think Tennessee's issues can get fixed in a week because I think that is the root of all the problems. Like, yes, they're not running offensive sets correctly. Yes, they may have a breakdown defensively. They may not make open shots. They don't rebound well enough, and to me, it all goes back to that. And that cannot be fixed within a week. It can't. It cannot be fixed within a week. So I think even if John Fulkerson gets hot and finishes the season on a strong note and leads Tennessee to a Sweet 16 run, Elite 8 run like Josh Richardson did that last year, Konzo, like leadership is still going to be an issue. Like even if he's playing well, leadership will still be an issue with this team.
Yep.
It just is what it is at this point. And it's affecting everything else. So that's why I don't think it can be fixed within a week.
Leadership is like, bad breaks. Like you're trying to get to point A to point B, you got bad breaks. You just hope that the breaks don't go out before you get to point B. You may get to point B, you may get to where you want to go, but it's not because things are fixed. So Tennessee may get to the second round of the tournament. They may get to the Sweet 16 if the matchups is right and, they hit shots and other teams not playing well or whatever. Like you still may win a game or so or two, whatever. But to truly get to where you want to go, you can't do it with squeaky breaks, in my opinion.
Nope.
No, you're not going to do it. So that's why I say you enjoy these freshmen for 3 or 4 more games.
Yep.
Max.
Tennessee basketball is not going to make a run in the postseason. It would surprise me if they do. This season feels exactly like Konzo's last year. It does. It feels like Konzo's last year. A disappointing regular season with not a ton of hope going into the tournament. That's what it feels like to me. And that basketball team proved to put it together in the tournament, squeaking out a win over Iowa in that, what do they call it, the first 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they got lucky by getting to play
Mercer, who beat Duke.
Yes, but that was the second game. Who'd they play? Who was their first game? They beat
I think they beat some small.
They did.
School.
They beat a small school, and then they got to beat Mercer, and they should have gone to the Elite 8. They were a horrible call away from going to the Elite 8. They outplayed Michigan, in my opinion, and just ran into some bad luck at the end of the game. But that's what this season feels like, and a complete disappointment because you have so much talent, firepower, and it has not come together, just like that regular season of Konzo's last year. And hopefully they can go on a run in March. It is March 1. Hopefully they can go on a run this month and be remembered for better things.
UMass.
Yes, UMass.
Iowa, UMass, Mercer, Michigan.
Because that regular season was incredibly disappointing that year.
Oh, yeah. I know.
But nobody remembers that because they went on the Sweet 16 run.
No, people remember it.
They do, but they talk about the Sweet 16 first.
No, they don't.
Well, I do, and people I know do.
People that continue to say Conzo and stalk Conzo and talk crap about Conzo, if they remember the tournament, which is more important, then they wouldn't be saying what they say about Conzo now. But like, they remember the regular season more than the tournament. They do.
I've seen the flip side personally. In my life, people I know that are Tennessee fans, we think of it differently. So my point is, if Tennessee,
y'all stay in y'all bubble,
huh?
So y'all stay in y'all little bubble over there then.
Yeah, we will. We'll stay in our bubble of positivity.
Sure.
I think if Tennessee goes in a run on March, it has the possibility of helping somewhat forget. It will never be forgotten that the regular season was a disappointment, but a run in March sure would help.
It would. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. That is our time for today. For Ben McKee and Jason Swain, Hour 3 was powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Same time tomorrow, 7 a.m. Peace and love. We are out.